Hi, so you want to know more about how to use this project called the towninator that I have made. So the towninator is a way to generate towns really quickly and get some kind of weird stuff actually. But weird stuff make great stories. So I want to take you through how you're actually using this. I will only tell you about this page. Later in the campaign, I will go a bit more in depth on how, like the NPC sheet and how the faction sheet works. But we begin with this one, which is like the front page called the Towninator. So what you can see right above me, it's the rules document. It is developing at the moment, so some things might change, some things might stay. But it works and I want to show you how to use it. So from top down, introduction. So the first thing we will do is that we will roll terrain. So up here we have a box that says terrain. So where are we going to place this town in the world? So let me just scroll a bit up here. You can see we have a D20 we need to roll. So let me roll that straight away. I rolled a 13. So now we will go to the D20 number 13 and see that we have got a plateau. So we will write, let me just, one second, right there. Let me write with a color we can see. Plateau. All right, so plateau gives us basically nothing, but let me just explain what this could do. So as you can see next to some of the others, like ocean. Ocean has a -2, which basically says that one of these categories over here gets a -2. What that will do, I will explain later. And now we need to roll the secondary terrain feature, which is optional. So we will roll a d4. We got plateau right here. We will roll a d4 to get some of this. All right, so let's roll a d4. Got a 4, so we have a plateau and we have a river running through it. So that says river. And river gives us, let me just see, river gives us 1 development point. What that does, I will explain later. But for now, let me just say that development points are these dots up here on the above each category. So let's say that a river in the plateau actually generates a bit of health. All right, let me just align this for you. All right, let's scroll down through this rules document. So what you can see we have next is fantastic terrain. So if you don't want to use the normal terrain, you can use fantastical terrain to get a little more odd experience. It is only a D10. So now we get to town size and age, and we also have districts. So we will roll that, and we will take a D6, and I got a 6, so we have a capital. We have quite a big town, so we will write capital here. All right, the age of this capital we will get to later. Inhabitants we will get above 100,000, so 100,001. Let's just do that. And we have 6 districts. How they work, we will get to that later. So boom, 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 boom. 6 districts. All right. The age of this town will be rolled now. So we will take a d6 again, roll it. Got a 5, so this is very old. So now we get to districts. So a fun way you can do this is roll on this next table, or if you have any of your ideas like at hand, you can like write six districts that you have. But let me just use this. So we have a D20. We have two D20 tables we need to combine with each other. So I will only roll one district because rolling one explains everything basically. So we got 18, which is the harebrained. Roll a D20 again. Got a 6, the harebrained corner. All right. You will do this for every district you have in your town, and you got some, and you'll get some funny ones. You can also get like the Western place or something like that. It depends on what you roll. Next up is categories. So categories are those to the side here that like tells you a bit more stuff about the town. So categories start with 1. They cannot be minus. So we'll start by rolling crime. And remember, we roll a capital. This is important now. So when you roll a capital, you will get 11 d20s that you add 6 to. So let me just start by rolling 1 here. 13, and we add 6, so we get 19. What this number tells us is that it basically comes, this kind of mythology comes from D&D, where 1 is bad and higher number is better. So when you roll a d20, 20 is quite good. We rolled a 19, 19 is also quite good. You can always get like above this. What we will use this number for is so when we get into town and the players start experience this town and they interact with the crime aspect of the town, you will have like a reference point. So crime is really developed in this town. It's like throwing through every aspect of this town because the number is so high. What we will do next is to like fill in every number. I will just write something. So 12, 20, 15, 7, 11, 21, 27, 11, 13, 17. All right. You will not do this, you will actually be rolling all of these numbers. Next up is development. So development is the key aspect of the sheet. Development is how your players interact with this town. So if your players do something to the health aspect of the town, like say they help slay some monsters in the sewers, they will get 1 development point. So they will get 1 development point towards this town being better. So if they manage to like get another development, you won't do this, but you'll actually erase all of these, and now it has 16 points. But let's just go back, do what we had, like so. All right, development points, you will roll those as well with a D4. Roll the 1 for crime, and let me just fill in the rest of this. So let's say it's like this. All right, like so. So now we have rolled development for each category. Sorry about that. And when, like I said before, when players interact with an aspect of this town, they will help the town thrive, or it won't thrive, basically. So what the next thing we will address is the building points. So each category have 6 buildings. And where we are now in development is that This number we have here is transferred to all of these buildings. So we have 19 building points to place in these 6 squares. The building points cannot be more than 5. They cannot be more than 5 because 5 is excellent. So if we have a 5 in graveyard, we have an excellent graveyard. The quality of this graveyard is like mausoleums and other stuff like that. But if it were like, if you had 0, you can tell where they want to bury their, or if they even bury the dead ones. A 1 makes a poor graveyard. All right. So what we will do is to add in numbers for all of these buildings. But I won't be doing that because, as I said before, this is easily done, and you can try it yourself by downloading this sheet. Next up is city specialty. So each city you roll have a specialty that it devotes its attention to, and how it like what makes this city special, basically. So we roll a d6, got a 3. So in this town, education is a key aspect of this town. So what we will do now is that we will go down to education, which is right there. We now have, I will be able to pick one of the 5 categories below and add 3 to that category. So I can take culture, health, auto production, or education and add 3 to that. So let's just say I added 3 to health. I can do that, yeah, and get 18, which gives me 3 more points to place in a building type. Before I get any further, when I make, like, if I have 5 here, it does not mean that there are only 1 herbalist in this town that is of the excellent quality. It just means that one of the many herbalists in this capital is of an excellent quality. So you can have basically as many herbalists as you want, but one of them is of the excellent quality. All right, what we will do now is that we will add 1 to 2 of the following buildings. So we'll have tavern, school, institution, and baths. So let me just see, tavern is in culture. So if I had 4 here before, this will now be a 5. Let me see, bath is in recreation. If that was 3, it will now be 4. So that is what education gives me. Next up is the NPCs in this town. So what you see over here is that we have an NPC block on this sheet. And each city had 3 NPCs spawning. You may of course have more, but in this sheet you will generate 1 from education, like the city specialty. You will generate 1 from the lowest. We have military, and you'll generate 1 that actually was the lowest. That's great. And you generate 1 from the highest category. So that was recreation. All right. So what we will do now is generate a name, and we'll generate what they're known for. So we will go to this table right here. We have again a d20 that is spread on 2 pages, which is annoying, but that's how Google Doc is treating me. So we will have a name that we will roll, a d20. So we got 18, which is Eldra. We will get what she's known as the Witty. Quite fitting. And just as an example, you can do the next one for military. 14, which is Belm. And Belm the variable. All right, so what you can do now, sorry about this. What you can do now is that if your players choose to interact with Belm the variable, you can take the NPC sheet and like roll on what Belm the variable is like good at, where his how he interacts with the world basically, and where he lives. Next up is fame. So fame will be rolled with a D8. So we take a D8, roll it, got an 8. So players in this town start by being infamous. And that is a -2. -3, oh my god. -3. All right, what fame does is that it has a modifier to it. And each time your players tries to do stuff that helps a category of this town. So if they choose to help the culture aspect in this town, and you will give them one development point, even if they choose to do it in good spirit, you will add the fame modifier to it. So if they choose to like do some stuff at the end, you give them 1 development point, but because they're infamous, you will subtract 2 from it. So they actually help degenerating this town just by being infamous. Next up is factions. So factions, depending on the size of the town, you will have different amount of factions in this town. So we have a capital and we have 3 factions. So we will scratch out all 3 here. And we will start rolling the names of these factions. So D20 again, rolling, we got a 10, so we have Steel. 5, Steel, Valiant. Valiant. Let's see what else we have. We have 1, which is the Mystical. 16, let me just scroll down a bit. The Mystical Hunters. And you're probably wondering what these are for again. So like the NPC, this will be education, it will be melee, and it will be recreation, where these factions will have their main seat in this town. Now we will roll the recent events. So we will have 1 recent event in a city. So we have, we will roll a D10. Got a 4, which is a bear. Roll a D10 again. A bear fought a. 2, a bear fought a flock of chickens. All right, so that's the most recent event in this giant capital. There might not be so much stuff happening here. The last part is import and export. So we will have 2 import and we will have 2 export in this town. This is quite a table, so we will roll a D100. Let me just see what that is, 60. So the first import in this town is bottles. The next import is 61, advanced dye. they export 44 wood, and they export number 17, which is common feathers. So that is how you use this sheet to generate towns. And hopefully you can see this idea is as good as I can, and I really hope that you will help me back this project in making this sheet look way, way prettier than I can do. So the idea is that from now you have rolled this city and you'll like introduce this to your players, and if they choose to go into some of the aspects of the city, for example, the NPCs or the factions, you can get another paper, add it to this sheet, and develop the town as they interact with it. And by that, having a narrative development of the town that is revolving around the players' interaction with this town. If they choose not to interact with it, you will basically have this sheet ready available, so if they come back, they will interact with it. But thank you so much for staying for this 20-minute video. I hope it has made up your mind whether you want to back this or not. If you won't be backing it, thank you so much for watching the whole 20 minutes. And let me know what you think in the comments.